Good afternoon. We've got ourselves a night of Dota 2 ahead of us. We are going to see ourselves 3 matches. One is a best of one, 2 best of 3s will follow after that one. We're going to start off with the best of 1. It is the last game in the quarterfinals for, of course, the Spring Cup, which is what you are watching right now. Afterwards, we're going to jump ourselves to the semifinals. And first of all, it is the question, which one of these two teams will be joining us in the semifinals? Is that Power Rangers, or are those the Balkan Bears? We're going to find out very soon. Of course, I am not alone. I am once again joined by my co-caster, Jeet. Welcome back.
Sup, good to be here. And, I mean, Balkan Bears, they've got a mountain to climb here. I like their start off, though. They picked up the Ember Spirit. If you're going to go up against a team which is, probably still the favourites for the tournament,
yeah,
I think, why not go for a pure damage type hero, like an Ember Spirit who just goes in, does as much damage as possible, and if you screw up, you die. If you do it well, you'll destroy the enemy team. I think that's a good option.
It's the do it or die kind of hero, and that definitely fits with the best of one strategy. As in, like, you only have one chance, right? Cannot waste it. You cannot have second chances. So go big or go home is the deal here. I have to say, I'm kind of sad that we're only gonna see one more game of them, because I remember them being very enjoyable to watch on Monday when we saw them in Group A. They actually, I feel like they have got like the short end of the stick by having to face Power Rangers here in this quarterfinals. As Power Rangers are the favorites to take this whole tournament home and definitely look good as well. And also, I mean, in terms of picks, they seem to know what they want to have. I mean, Shadow Shaman as the second pick is not a hero that we often see, but it is a hero that already can deal with an Ember Spirit very well. They have a plan. And it is really for Balkan to have, like, they are the team with the pressure, I feel like, in this game.
Yeah, the pressure is definitely on them, and I like the Shadow Shaman second pick. It's a hero we've been seeing sort of more and more. There was one point where that hero is seen as completely unpickable, but, he's gotten a little bit of buffs, and he's managing to do okay in this game so far. Well, the problem is, though, is that he is very level dependent. So, generally, you don't put him as a core hero, because as a core hero, he does basically the same thing he does as a support hero. It's just easier for him. So it's kind of pointless putting him as a core hero, but if you put him on support, he can struggle for levels. Yeah. And that is a problem that the hero suffers from pretty badly.
Yeah, and I have to say, I'm kind of surprised to not see more supports getting banned out, because both of these supports kind of need a co-support to work well with. Maybe that is why they don't ban anything out, because they don't want to, have themselves with a shorter pool of supports. We only have the Disruptor removed, which is, it's a good global strat from, or global, what am I saying global for? I mean, AoE kind of wombo combo thingy that you can do with AA and Ember, I guess. Not that big of a deal, I think, for Balkan Bears. They'll sure to find something else. We've seen a lot of Rubik's with the Ancient Apparition. He is, of course, still in the pool. We have a lot of pushing heroes removed from the Balkan Bears. The Lycan, the Tinker as well. And, I mean, with the Shadow Shaman, of course, you know that there is this high possibility that Power Rangers is gonna push. But maybe they therefore kind of neglected to ban some other heroes that Power Rangers will gladly take, like the Lifestealer. I mean, Bat Rider, Lifestealer combinations. You see those all the time, and I wouldn't have minded seeing maybe Lycan still removed because he's just very strong. But maybe instead of the Tinker ban, either the Lifestealer ban or maybe even the Puck ban, because Bat Rider can of course go on the offlane, which is definitely a hero that Cheshire Cat sometimes plays, and then put Scandal with a Puck, and then you've got another Lifestealer bomb. And I mean, I'm a bit worried there if Balkan didn't kind of overlook that Lifestealer. But so far, well, they're going to have to deal with it, and they're taking actually quite heavily into their bonus time.
Yeah, I think the Lycan ban, definitely a smart ban. The early pushing that can come out from a Shadow Shaman plus Lycan would be extremely dangerous. I think possibly the best pick for Power Rangers here would just be to pick up a Nature's Prophet. It does mean that you're putting the Bat Rider mid. He's not great at winning most mid lanes. He'll do okay versus Ember Spirit, just because the hurting of the turn rate hurts melee heroes much more than it does range heroes, because obviously melee heroes have to go in further and then turn around and get out when they go for a last hit. But Balkan Bears, I mean, I said it before, I think they should go all in this game. They're going all in. Morphling, AA, Ember Spirit, ridiculous damage.
Yeah.
Very mobile on their core heroes, the Ember and the Morphling. And I mean, it's a difficult hero to run, though. He is good versus Lifestealer for a lot of reasons, though. Very mobile.
Yeah, and the thing that I'm looking for right now for Balkan Bears, I would really like to see something that can already have a big splash of impact early on. Because yeah, I mean, if you look at this lineup so far, you think late game, they've got it in the pocket, they've got it secured. But they need something to get to that late game. And Ancient Deprivation on his own, they're not really going to be cutting that one. So I'm thinking Ember is going to be our mid hero here. We have seen it on the offlane sometimes, but mid hero is the one that's most logical for me, with Morphling on the offlane. And then have something on the, Morphling on the safe lane, of course, and have something
offlane
on the
morphing, new meta.
Yeah.
Congrats, Shiva, you've created a new meta.
Thanks.
No, I'm kidding.
No, but and there's, you know, put something on the offlane that doesn't need that much to make things happen, because they really need something to be keeping themselves in the game, and maybe, you know, the lame expression, create some space for both Ember and Morphling.
Yeah, I think more than anything, Balkan Bears need some sort of hero that early on can gank and kill people. Because right now, Ember Spirit, Ancient Apparition, Morphling, as a combo, those heroes, they can be made to work mid-game. Particularly Ember Spirit. Morphling, it's harder to do, but you can definitely do stuff in the mid-game with that. Obviously, you want to go late-game with a Morphling on your team. He's one of the strongest late-game carries there is, particularly at split push, and for killing people. I mean, that hero's just great at all sorts of things, but right now they need a gank hero, and I mean, that's the perfect support for it, I feel. Vengeful Spirit.
Oh, I love that pickup. It basically is a support that, as you said, it is a gank support. The thing that Vengeful Spirit is good with, she has a solid stun. Her movement speed is definitely decent as well, so she can move around early, get in with that stun to set up for all kinds of things. Yeah, I like it. I hope that she can be successful. Power Rangers, they picked themselves up an Enigma. And don't get me wrong, I love Enigma, and I think every caster likes Enigma because, you know, it's the whole black hole factor that you can count into a cast, possibly. But I don't think, like, Enigma is mostly strong when you want to try and 5-man fight. I do realize that Ember is not going to get away from that, Morphling is not going to get away from that, and that's what they were aiming for here, which is definitely solid.
5 seconds.
But in terms of 5-man fights, I don't think Power Rangers is going to get that. Because Balkan Bears is not going to 5-man fight until Morphling or Ember or both have got decent enough farm to actually beat the lineup of Power Rangers. That said, as like Enigma, if he gets solo Black Hole on either Ember or Morphling and the kill goes their way, it's still going to be a well-spent Black Hole.
Yeah, the reason I think Power Rangers picked it up is this gives them some good early push. Enigma is good for that. I mean, obviously, Chen and Enchantress also usable for that. They wanted some extra team fight. Balkan Bears, I think they've actually got a great counter pick in this Vengeful Spirit, because not only is she good as an early ganker, something they definitely needed, but swap, you know, that can be used on the Enigma every single time he black holes, and I believe it goes through BKB. Yeah, it does go through BKB. So there's nothing that the Enigma can do about that other than, I mean, getting a Lincoln Sphere, but that's an expensive item that's not even that great. I mean, the thing is Vengeful Spirit, even if she can't swap, she can probably still stun from far out if he goes for a Lincoln. So yeah, I think this is a really smart pick for Balkan Bears. Enigma, it'll work for them, it will help them in tower push early, and it does give them good mid-game team fight, because otherwise they're lacking a little bit on AoE, but, well, I guess they're going to go Storm Spirit here, so this is a very powerful combination. Lifestealer, Storm Spirit, I mean, Lifestealer Batrider is one thing, Lifestealer Storm Spirit is even more dangerous, because Storm actually wants to stay in there and fight when you drop off the Lifestealer.
You know what the scary thing is about Power Rangers right now? I mean, Storm is very mobile, sure. Bedrider, Shadow Shaman, and Enigma are all three heroes that generally want to get a Blink Dagger at one point or another, and Lifestealer can hitchhiker right along, so they have a very scary team if they get those core items up. Granted, Shadow Shaman is going to be a 5 support here, so his Blink Dagger, if he actually is going to get it at some point, is going to be late. But this is an immensely mobile team. Balkan Bears, of course, also has 2 very mobile cores, but their supports are not that mobile. And Ancient Deprivation likes to stand at the back of the fight, casting his ulti on everybody. He is going to have some trouble if, you know, the fight gets brought to him by just a Storm Spirit zipping through the rest of his team, grabbing him, make sure that Ancient Deprivation is not going to be a factor in those fights. And in comes a Darkseer, a hero, again, that needs a lot of ramp-up time, is an offlaner. Balkan Bears, I feel like if they lose their lanes, they are gonna be having a very tough game, and Power Rangers will try to end it fairly early. However, if they are doing okay on their lanes, things are gonna be tough for Power Rangers.
Yeah, and look at all these smokes being bought at the start of the game. I mean, this is something I think is going to be very crucial. I mean, less so for PR, though. I'm surprised they decided to buy 2 smokes on their team, because one thing I was thinking about is that PR, they can play very, very active, but one way that they can make sure that they get those blink daggers early is they can quite easily rotate 2 or 3 people to the bottom lane at like 3 to 6 minutes, maybe even the 9-minute mark, take out the tier 1 and possibly even the tier 2 tower as well. Because Balkan Bears, they don't have that much in the way of counter push. Venge, AA, they're not going to be doing much in the way of counter push. At least AA will be able to once he gets 6, but not before that.
Yeah.
And otherwise, it's just going to be the Darkseer that can do that. The Darkseer, I mean, it's a nice, interesting pick. I think it's good because they're going to be able to get a mech.
True.
One big thing you pointed out about PR is they're going to be initiating with blink daggers here. Yes, Balkan Bears, they have good ways of escaping that, but there's a lot of, I mean, there's Hex, there's Black Hole. These are basically instant stuns. These are instant cast point things. The same goes for Lasso. You're not going to be able to get out there as an Ember Spirit. Perhaps you will as the Morphling, because Waveform's pretty fast, but Ember Spirit, you've got to use the Remnant, then you activate it to jump to it. You're probably going to get caught out if they do jump on you with a Blink Dagger, so I think this is a dangerous lineup for Balkan Bears to go up against, but the scary thing is that it's just how well Balkan Bears scale this game. I mean, Darkseer, he turns your own heroes against you. Ember Spirit can hit everybody, and I mean, we all know what Morphling can do. Yes, he's a glass cannon, but he hits very, very hard, and he's mobile in the fight too.
Yeah. Look at that. Call me Durman. Told you so. Told you so. It's such a
I'm going to
shame
call him
that-
Dr. Man anyway.
Well, he only asked it to me, so...
No, I'll call him Durman.
Well, let's take a look at who is playing what. As Power Rangers is, of course, a very known team, but let's not forget that this tournament is also here to just give all the teams that are not as well known a bit more limelight here. So Balkan Bears, who, by the way, have an amazing team name. The Bears. So Durman is going to be the Vengeful Spirit. We pronounce his name as Dr. Man, which is a very cool name, to be honest, so that's still open. But Durman is playing the Vengeful Spirit here as a support role on the top lane. Solitude will play the Morphling on the top lane as well. He's going to be our carry. Spacey on the Ancient Operation, supporting as well. And all those will be going on a safe lane. Licious in the middle. Ember Spirit. I feel like we've seen him play Ember Spirit before. Licious has been the mid player for Balkan Bears in all games so far, so yeah. And last is Karak, the Darkseer, played on the safe or suicide lane, I should say, and is a fairly safe offlaner. Nonetheless, he is having a bit of pressure to get his mech up fairly fast, because I don't think Power Rangers is going to wait for him.
Yeah, and one of the things with Darkseer is he has a very slow build-up. Once he gets there, he's great, but I mean, he's good at like level 3, level 5, and then it's like wait until you have Wall of Replica, because points in vacuum don't matter a huge amount to the side of Balkan Bears. They don't have lots and lots of AoE. Maybe it'd be nice if they can hit a 5-man Ice Blast, but that's not exactly something likely, is it? I mean, yeah, Karak, he's gonna have a fairly okay lane actually though, because he's going up against the Lifestealer. It's a melee hero. Lifestealer doesn't cope as badly as some melee heroes can do versus a Darkseer, and he is gonna have support in FNG's Shadow Shaman. They can probably even gank with the Enigma, but yeah, I think this Darkseer should do okay actually, because I was talking about the early push capability PR have, and of course the safe lane is pretty much always the place you would push, but if Darkseer's there, he is a good counter push hero because you can just put ion shells on everything. I don't know, it's interesting to see how this Darkseer does, because he could get caught out and die multiple times. I mean, Shadow Shaman, a great hero for helping somebody else get killed quickly.
Well, for now,
and he's got a haste rune as well.
Yeah, he's actually stopping the range creep from getting killed off first, basically, to keep the lane equilibrium going, as he's gonna just harass Karak. He revealed that he has Ether Shock level 1, though. That's a big thing. Means no Shackle, means Karak is gonna feel a bit more safe to be able to still have his Surge to escape, but as you can see, he's not speccing anything just yet, because he doesn't know what he needs right now. If he gets his Iron Shell right now, then he won't have an escape, and they will know it. So he's holding the point to himself. Do you still want to introduce Power Rangers? Because they might be known, but people want to know which hero each player plays on.
Yeah, in the mid lane, it is going to be Scandal here, stand-in for the team, but pretty much guaranteed to be joining the team soon. He's on the Storm Spirit. In the jungle for the team, it is going to be J4 up on the Enigma here. Looks like he's going fast Soul Ring. Will probably go mech, maybe even a Blink Dagger first. I probably think he'll go just mech, though. It's a lot safer. The other support for the team, it is FNG here. He's on the Shadow Shaman. Already mentioned, he picked up Ether Shock level 1 here. This is something that I find interesting, that the reason that people do this is it's 95 mana for 140 damage, which level 1 is really, really cost efficient. It actually goes down in how cost efficient it is, but up in its damage by a fair amount. So Ether Shock level 1, it's an interesting build. It does force Karak to use a fair amount of regen, but yeah, not hugely effective. They can't get a kill with it. Moon, the carry player though, he's up on the Lifestealer here on the safe lane, and last but not least, the off-lane player for the team, Cheshire Cat, up on the Batrider. He's got a DD rune. He's actually rotated mid for the moment. Yeah. I guess he just escaped this way at some point. Otherwise, there's no real reason for him to be here, unless he's going to jungle.
And yeah, it looks like he is going to go for the jungle for the moment. Sharing a jungle with an Enigma, not ideal, especially not since FNG is using the jungle as well, 2 of the camps. It's quite greedy, but he wasn't really getting that much on the top lane. So, I mean, it's something he can do. You have to be aware that Enigma indeed will get less. However, they are not the ones who are too sad about that. I think they are aware that they have quite a bit of time before the Balkan Bears can actually make their lineup work. So they got time to farm in the jungle, which, by the way, is something that the Balkan Bears weren't doing. I say weren't because Darkseer actually rotated into the jungle as well. But it is a source of income that Power Rangers is making the best use of, as they have so many jungle farmers, while the Balkan Bears only just now started using it. Darkseer, granted, is a fairly decent jungle hero, but not as ideal as an Enigma is.
Yeah, I mean, using all these people in the jungle, it ends up being slightly inefficient just because Enigma and Batrider actually clear the camp so fast they end up running out of things that they can do in the jungle. But yeah, it is going to be nice fast levels for them. And oh yeah, this is going to be an important smoke here.
Yeah, Scano already stunned up. I think that Licious kind of jumped the gun there with his ensnares. Didn't wait for Durman to come around, and that leaves a smoke gank unsuccessful. Bit of a shame.
Yeah, just went a little bit too early then. Yeah. Otherwise, they would have got that kill on Scandal.
They're gonna try again. They still have the Chilling Touch. It's gonna run out, but they have new. Actually, they don't. 24 seconds. But is Scandal gonna expect this? Because, you know, they just failed their smoke. Where's the stun? There it is. In comes the stun from Durman as well. This should be your first blood right here. Indeed it is. Nicely done. And I have to say, like, he was not expecting them to come back straight away after a failed gank like that. But that's why you... so that you can fail once and then come back to go for another try.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing for me is that Balkan Bears, they led with their Ancient Apparition there, which I guess, if you do... the nice thing is, it does mean that you are going to get that cold feet off if the Balkan Bears Licious does land the Searing Change Sleight of Fist combo, but that's not an easy combo to land. I feel like the safer option would have just been going in first with the Magic Missile, but either way, they get the kill on him, and, you know, it's an effective rotation for them, but like you said, they did use up 2 smokes for that. So that's pretty expensive to get that kill. I can see why they do it, though. Scandal, I mean, do you really want him to ball out of control? On this hero as well, it's very dangerous to their lineup. He can easily pick off heroes like Ancient Apparition very quickly in the mid-game.
Yeah, and he's almost level 6, by the way. The difference in levels is actually ahead now for Scandal. Well, they're still quite even, despite Scandal dying. Level 6 now for Storm. He's not entirely able to kill off the Ember Spirit straight away, just because of the Fire Shield. So that will be, or Flame Guard rather. That will be something that at least Licious is going to be happy about, unless Mr. Enigma turns around for Malefice. Let's see what they can do. If the damage is all there, it might be with those Eidolons coming out. Malefice is going to take one more time, and now he's going to try to turn it around. Teleporting coming from Durman as well, but he's only able to help chase them away. Licious is not going to be able to chase that. And that is going to be a gank also not successful for Power Rangers. But is the Enigma going to turn around and try again? I don't think so. He doesn't have another smoke. It's in the Shadow Shaman's inventory, the last smoke that they got.
No, and Enigma's time is, you know, he can spend his time much faster farming in the jungle. Yeah. So getting that gank is not as important for him. Still, Scandal would probably like it to happen. And the reason Licious is so hard to kill is, I mean, you already mentioned it. Flame Guard, it's 350 magic damage absorbed just straight away from that. And he gets magic stick charges at the time as well. I'm glad that he decided to pick that up early. Looking at the heroes on PI, I mean, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? There's a lot of heroes, particularly Batrider, who a magic stick is just crazy effective against. And yeah, he survives that gank because of Flame Shield, Flame Guard, or whatever it's called.
Sorry, I called it Fire Shield and his Flame
I
Guard.
had
And
that
now
name
you're stuck.
like down to a T, and you've ruined it for me. You've ruined it.
I'm sorry.
That's whatever. Looks like he's going to Scandal again, actually.
Yeah, Scandal has an
Invis
Invis rune
mode.
though. Still chases him away, successfully so. Scandal does have a full bottle, however, so he's not going to be too sad about this. There's still a yard. Like, look at those.
Yeah, he would have got the kill because of that, though. That's why he dropped all 3 of those fire remnants, because Scandal was like about 200 HP, and each of those does around... How much is it that it does at this level?
100.
That's 100 damage each, so it is a 300 damage nuke that you can use. I mean, generally you only use fire remnants individually to move about, but you can use them like that. Drop them all on somebody, and you can blow them up.
No, Scandal is full health again, so he's not going to get blown up anytime soon. And I think for Balkan Bears, their laning stage, I mean, they might not be ahead on last hitting at all, actually. In terms of last hits, they have lost all their lanes, even though the difference between the Morphling and the Life Stealer is really minimal, it's like 1 last hit or so. But they're okay with this, because they actually get time to do what they want. They actually don't get pressured into anything at all. And they're even going to take down their first tower, which is a big deal, because they need that early gold, and those towers will help them get that.
Yeah, and I mean, the team that would probably have better tower push, if you look at it as well, is the side of PR. I mean, it looks kind of like they're going to go for this bottom tier 1 tower now, but middle lane? No, they're just pressuring each other for the moment. Neither actually has kill potential, I would say.
Oh, they're going to pressure Cheshire Cat. Cold Feet's already there. Is the damage there as well? We have Licious jumping onto the high ground with his remnants, but the bottle is there for Cheshire Cat, and he is going to be okay. Storm? No, you're not going to turn around, Scandal, or are you? Sees himself an opportunity on level 4 Vengeful Spirit. The Cold Feet not going to proc, and neither is Durman. He's going to be able to walk away because of that Cold Feet as well.
Yeah, and I mean, just that's a situation where Scandal, he's not high enough level, he doesn't have enough items to really go for those solo kills at this point. You know, Storm Spirit generally needs like 1 item to actually go for those sorts of kills. He can if somebody's closer, but he used a lot of mana just to initiate then, and he's doing the same thing on Spacey here, just zoning him out, saying, nope, this is my lane, but he's used up all of his mana here, so he can't do this much anymore.
No. I do like that they put Spacey in the middle for a while, though, because that's something that they're kind of lacking, as Morphling just got a solo kill on Mr. Batrider there. Cheshire Cat dropping 2 solo Morphling is not something that should happen, to be honest. But good going for the Balkan Bears, I'd say. Spacey, in the meantime, I mean, he's level 5 right now, still 1 level away from level 6. The Vengeful Spirit is still level 4. And that is where Power Rangers' advantage comes to play, because they, of course, have got now Batrider sitting at level 6. Shadow Shaman is, of course, the hard support, but he still made it to level 5. And the rest is all level 6 or higher. I mean, even Enigma is level 7, almost level 8, almost as his mechanism as well, as Morphling actually is in some trouble here on the top lane. Scandal is going to get a Vortex up. Solitude, still morphing into strength, might be enough. He doesn't have enough mana to waveform though, but it looks like he doesn't even need it.
Yeah, eventually at some point Scandal just has to look at his mana bar and go, there is no way I can finish off this Morphling. That's the nice thing about Morphling. You can morph strength or agility whether you're stunned or not. Silencers will stop you, but yeah, he gets out of there pretty safely from that one, and it looks to me like, well, is he going to be rushing this E-Blade or not? I would guess if he's rushing the E-Blade, he would buy the full Ghost Scepter now, but
No,
I
wouldn't
guess
he get
not.
the
I
other
guess
one
he's going to go
first?
Lincoln's instead.
Like, wouldn't he get the Eagle Song though?
The thing is that Morphling kind of needs a little bit of stats, and Eagle Song is just agility, so it does make you more vulnerable in some ways. I would generally get the Ghost Scepter first. It's playing it kind of safe. I know that's not exactly the safe build to go straight E-Blade. I don't know. I'm interested to see what he's going. For the moment, he's just saving
build.
gold.
Like, the only one that you want to have a Ghost Scepter against is Life Stealer, right? Because the rest actually does quite a bit of magical damage as well, maybe Enigma as well. So
It's helpful versus Storm, because then Storm can't actually hit you.
True, and he can't build up his remnant start charges, I guess. Although the ones that they does get out are more painful.
Yeah. I don't know. he's probably just saving at the moment and thinking about what he's going to go for. Actually, no, he's just picked up an ultimate orb, so he's going to play this safer. I think this probably makes a lot more sense. It'll help against the Batrider in particular, because Batrider, and we're at just past the 10-minute mark. He's picked up his Blink Dagger now. If you pick up a Lincoln Sphere, that will stop the Batrider until he's got, say, a Force Staff, and then that can be difficult to actually use. But it looks like the bot lane here, they're going to use
Yeah,
it.
first showing of the Blink Dagger, and Darkseer is going to pay for his insolence. He actually tried to harass Moon a bit, but Moon was just baiting that out. And I mean, the Darkseer, I was going to point this out because he is the mechanism builder for his team. We talked about this. He has a buckler so far only, and if you look at the Enigma, his mechanism is already done. That is such a big difference that it's kind of scary, because you want to have a mechanism to fight against your enemy team, obviously, but if they have a mechanism before you, they're going to get ready to fight before you are, and that should be cause for trouble for the Balkan Bears.
Yeah, I mean, that's always a reason. And actually, it looks like J4, he's caught out of position here. He's going to Black Hole, though.
Black Hole on 3, because 2 people teleported in on the same location. That is teleporting in for your doom. Like, really, that was the easiest Black Hole of J4's life.
It really was an easy Black Hole for him, and it was a smart move as well. He basically baited that out. He was out of position, up on the high ground. He just walked out of tower range, turns around, Black Holes them, and yeah, they all TP'd into it. I mean, that's about as easy as it gets to land a Black Hole. A small mistake by Balkan Bears, and it's going to put them back a little bit here, because the thing is, Moon's got a Hand of Midas. He's out farming the Morphling, and everybody else you already mentioned. I mean, the Enigma, he's a very fast jungle hero. There's others that are farming as well. Scandal seems to be out farming Licious, so overall, PR, they're a fair bit ahead here, and they've already taken out 2 tier 1 towers as well.
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, it's a small mistake, but with giant results, I feel, because this is the first tower down by Power Rangers. They have the thing, like, if they take down a fight, if they get a fight their way, then the tower will drop instantly as well. They just have that kind of pushing power. You already mentioned that with the Enigma, of course, being there. And then, of course, also they have a Shadow Shaman with his wards. So it's all there. And on top of that, they are not allowed to lose any momentum in this game. They're not allowed to lose any ground. They still have to farm up that Morphling. They still have to farm up that Ember. And I feel like they maybe have just given away a bit too much there. With just one fight, with one mistake, things can turn around so quickly. But if there's a game like this where there's not that many kills, then all the kills that do happen matter a lot. Especially if you just give away 3 kills.
Yeah, it's not like this was just, a kill on an Ancient Apparition or something. Kills on cores in particular is what matters. In longer games, supports always get picked off. It's what happens.
Yeah.
There's nothing that you can do about it. It's annoying as a support player, especially in a slower paced game where you're not necessarily doing very much, but yeah, I mean, Licious going down, it's a fairly big deal for him, because one of the issues with going this Flame Guard build and going solo mid is you're not likely to pick up farming items, and you've not got a very good farming skill build either. You're there for fighting and killing, which is great as far as, if he can create the space on the map, but so far he's not been doing that. They are grouping up to go for the bottom tower here, but so is PR.
Yeah, in comes the Malefice coming out on the Ancient Deparation. He already threw out his ultimate. He has to be careful though. He is gonna get picked up right there. And Vengeful Spirit will join him in the grave, looking for more action. There it is, and lasso used, but Cheshire Cat not getting that kill on Licious. And the cores, the carries for Balkan Bears are going to town. Solitude already got a double kill. He's there looking for more. Is there enough damage? Moon actually comes into play, goes for the open wounds on Licious, and might be able to get a kill. He gets away just barely. Or is he actually able to get away? Not at all, or running. Flame Guard on cooldown. Morphling still died. Licious gets picked up as well, and that turned into a 4-on-2 for the moment. The only surviving hero on the bottom lane for the Balkan Bears is Karak Darkseer. And that was a very costly smoke gank for the Balkan Bears. The smoke gank of Power Rangers, definitely more successful.
Yeah, Power Rangers, they lose very little from doing that, and the tower doesn't even go down on the bottom lane. Balkan Bears, yeah, I was just saying how crucial it can be losing your core heroes, and they lose Morphling and the Ember Spirit. This is time they're not on the map farming, they're not getting kills, either of them. They tried pretty hard in that fight, but Ember Spirit at this stage, he just doesn't have enough items to support what he wants to try and do in the fight, and the same can be said of the Morphling. He's not even finished his Lincoln Sphere. arguably he shouldn't be on that bottom lane involved in a big fight. Although Morphling, he's just going to go back to farming. I think this is the most sensible thing he can do right now.
It's the only thing he can do. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, we saw what happens when he tries to fight.
Yeah. I for a second there, I thought they can turn it all around, but there it's just too early. They just don't have the power yet to do what they wanted to be doing there. Kind of maybe overestimating the heroes that they have, or underestimating the farm that Power Rangers had. Of course, the mechanism was there as well. We did have some kills go in the way of the Balkan Bears, but no cores. I mean, Moon lived, as we have Shasharket jumping forward, wants to go for Licious. The Vortex is there as well, and A ult will only be there to punish them for their kill. Actually, a Hex comes out on the bench, but no follow-up coming from Power Rangers as they actually back up. And Enigma, instead of going for a Blink Dagger after his mechanism, he's actually going to finish up his BKB.
I'm surprised he's doing that, especially because there's a Vengeful Spirit on the field. That basically can mean nothing as long as the Vengeful Spirit is in a good position. That said, as far as, you know, really early game initiation, Balkan Bears only have the Vengeful Spirit. They don't have anybody else really who can lock people down. Licious can do it on the Ember Spirit, but it's very difficult to do. And Darkseer, he's not ready to do it yet. He has got 3 points in Vacuum, so he can maybe, you know, initiate a fight, but how's he going to get into that fight? He's only got 1,000 HP right now. He's just finished his mech, so he's a little bit more survivable. I think the real issue for Balkan Bears...
Ah, nice snipe. FNG gets sniped. He walks past the Dire Ward, and I think he's going to shatter. Yeah.
It's close, but he's going to go.
Yeah, there he goes. Nicely done from Ancient Apparition, to be honest. I mean, that's a good job, and they need those kind of pickoffs. Even if it doesn't get them any control over the map, it does make sure that Power Rangers, for the moment, is not going to be S5 pushing somewhere, which buys time for the Balkan Bears. Although, Ev, after saying that, I mean, Balkan Bears...
He's completely on his own here. The Balkan Bears don't know. They don't know, so they're not going on him, even though he's completely... He's completely on his own.
Talking about completely on their own, Morphling was also completely on his own. Did get the tower, but got picked up by Solitude, or sorry, by Scano afterwards. Solitude was the one to die. Yeah, now, I mean, Moon is still here. I believe he's sitting invested. Yep, jump forward. Liching on Delicious. Open Moon's there as well. Delicious not able to get away. A-ult will still hit. Does force the rest of Power Rangers back, but you know, across the map, they just took down the two cores again. The two heroes that are supposed to carry this for the Balkan Bears, they do not get any peace of mind at all.
Yeah, and PR are just playing this beautifully, to be honest. They're not focusing anybody else down. They're not going on anybody else. They're not even trying to. No. They're just going on the Morphling and the Enigma, the Morphling and the Ember Spirit. They know they're the only real problems for the team, and they have good heroes to do it as well. Storm Spirit, he can jump in, he can pick his target very easily with Electric Vortex and an Orchid of Malevolence and just focus somebody down. And Batrider, they use him to pull somebody out of position. Twice now it's been the Ember Spirit, and both times he goes down. This AA is doing a fair amount of work for the team, but the sad fact is if the Ember Spirit is already dead by the time the AA ult hits, then they can't follow up on it. Ember Spirit's the only one who can follow up on a good AA ult in these fights, so if he gets lassoed and killed, he's gone.
Bash. Of course that happens. Look at how cocky Moon can be on the top lane as well. He just starts going on the Darkseer, and even though he's being outnumbered, they just run away from him anyway. In the meantime, Shadow Shaman was able to just plant his wards next to the tower in the mid lane, and nobody does anything about it. Open wounds now, another bash. Vengeful Spirit is able to swap the Darkseer at least out, so he'll live. But it's not over just yet. The Malefice, actually, Cold Feet might proc on J4. That's going to be a good one, but the lasso still grabs Spacey. That is a one Spacey dead, Licious shackled, and enough damage to take him down as well in that duration. Darkseer, Black Hole, taken down. J4 might still jump, but it looks like he's going to survive as well, while the Morphling is forced to go into his replicate and get away from that. Buyback happened for the Darkseer, but nonetheless, 4 heroes down in a short period of time, and all they got was a Shadow Shaman, and they... Like, that was not even... It didn't even seem like a real planned fight, right? It was just reactive gaming, basically.
Yeah, completely, and the fact is, PR are ahead, so in a fight like that, they're gonna win pretty much every single time. Moon's huge at this point, and I mean, he's going for items that absolutely show just what I said about them focusing down specific targets, just wanting to kill one person off. He's going Basher, and now he's going Desolator. That's just... It's purely to kill just the one person. He doesn't want to be particularly fast even. You know, he's not picking up a Sanjin Yasha. He's not going Assault Cuirass. They're not worried about his team dying. He just wants to go, I found someone, they're gonna die. That's his role in life, and well, looks like Scandal's actually going very aggressive here, but he's got mana, he's gonna be fine.
He's gonna be able to pick up an Ancient Apparition in the midst of his entire team and walk away. That is
yeah,
just
and he's going to get BKB next, and then there'll be absolutely nothing that can stop him in this fight. The only thing that will stop him is if he bulls too far and uses up all of his mana.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a surprising lack of lockdown on the side of the Balkan Bears as well. I mean, yeah, they've got a Magic Missile and maybe called Feed of It procs and then Snare from the Ember, but it's all, apart from the Magic Missile, it's all kind of reliant on situations to have them actually hit properly. So it's kind of scary for the Balkan Bears. They are in a very tough spot right now. I mean, Power Rangers is generally one item ahead of everybody else. I mean, the lowest on the set of Power Rangers is the Shadow Shaman in terms of net worth.
He's ahead of the Ember.
And he is ahead of the Ember, who
Bam.
doesn't even finish up his drums yet. He was a solo mid-Ember that helped get First Blood. They got First Blood on their side, but he did not get anything in that middle lane at all. While Shadow Shaman has got a 4-staff, mana boost, he's doing just fine. Basically, the Linken's Morphling is the only thing that has the potential to keep them in the game. The only one that's doing fairly decent in terms of having a net worth that is comparable to Power Ranger's score, and even still, he is quite a bit behind. And I mean, he's farming up against the hand of Midas Lifestealer. It's not an easy job to do at all.
Yeah, he's not doing bad as far as farm is concerned by any stretch, but the fact is that Morphling has a pretty long ramp-up time as far as damage is concerned. He's actually going to go Manta style next. I think this is a sensible choice. PR, they have issues as far as, overall AoE damage is concerned. They do have the Black Hole and a little bit from the Shadow Shaman, but that's about it, really. So that's a nice thing that he can do. It'll help with the split push as well, which is always useful, because he wants to be trying to extend this game out, right? They don't want this game to close in the next few minutes, and that's exactly what PR are trying to do. I mean, look at their positioning on the map. They're basically just constricting them out. I mean, FNG's just got a free tower on the bottom lane as well. I think it was denied. Yeah, it was denied by Morphling, but still goes down.
No more outer towers. I mean, the entire enemy jungle is basically taken over by Power Rangers. Maybe there's still going to be a kill here. Yeah, there is. Nice. Solitude is actually abusing the aggressiveness of the Shadow Shaman. Might be paying for it, though. Orchid coming out from Scandal. Vortex as well. Orchid is about to disappear, and now he's morphing into strength, but he's still going to get lassoed and killed off. And that's what you get with such a mobile team. Shadow Shaman might have been alone, and he looked alone on the minimap as well, but everybody is so mobile that they can be there in a heartbeat to get revenge. And that was not a worthy trade.
And the fact is that right now, just the Lincoln Sphere is not actually enough defensive items if he's the only one being focused. But Licious, look at the damage!
Swapped into safety, Durman saving the day, but only for the moment. Vacuum back, maybe Moon gonna get Cold Feet proc? No, he's way too fast with those face boots and a drum charge used as well. He'll be okay. He actually infests in Cheshire Cat. He doesn't have a lasso anymore, but it's okay, he doesn't need to. They actually have a gem as well, so they get some map control back on the jungle of the enemy team again. And they're staying on the enemy side of the river.
Yeah, and I mean, look at this ward placement by PR as well. Just press F2 now and just look at it. It's... Balkan Bears can hardly leave their base. It's crazy how good this ward vision is.
Oh well, they can actually edge out on the top, I guess.
Yeah, they can edge out just a little bit, but they have to have people behind them. The Darkseer with his mech, and I mean, the damage that the Lifestealer is able to do to anyone right now, and we have a disconnect.
Spacey says,
where's the pause?
GG
Okay.
guys. No. Ridge Grid.
he's friggin' left. Nah, I mean, Balkan Bears, they can still definitely turtle this game out, but it's very difficult for them to do. They do have good heroes for it. I mean, Ember Spirit and Morphling, they both have good ways of getting rid of the waves, and Morphling in particular is able to, move about the map and split push, but I don't know. This is, I mean, the scariest thing for me right now is just how much damage Lifestealer can do. He's going to have an Abyssal Blade soon if he wants it. I mean, he's hitting for almost 300 damage. We're like 25 minutes in. So much damage at this point. And he can bash people as well.
Yeah.
If Balkan Bears get unlucky and he's going on Solitude, Solitude could die very quickly.
The thing is, I mean, during the draft, you mentioned, like, okay, Morphling, not the worst one to have against a Lifestealer, mostly because he's so mobile, but one bash, and I'm gonna assume one Abyssal Blade which is coming for Lifestealer. And Solitude is going to be stuck, and he is going to get killed off because, I mean, there's a Lincoln's, which is nice, but they have plenty of ways to tick off that Lincoln's before the Abyssal goes on, right? It's like there's no problem. He can open wounds if he wants to, and it's going to be working out as well because he is just fat enough to survive it anyways. It is a scary point in the game for the Balkan Bears. If they can defend for about 10 minutes, I want to say, and that's a long time to defend against a lineup like this for Power Rangers. But if they can defend for 10 minutes, then their future looks a lot more bright. For now, it does not look so bright. It looks kind of
10 minutes will give them the items to contest the game a little bit more. 20 will give them the items to actually, really try and fight and put the pressure on PR. That's just how bad a situation they're in right now. I mean, you said it earlier, they kind of needed to be ahead with their heroes. They needed to not lose all this map control, and that's exactly what happens, because PR have such a great pick-off lineup. I mean, Storm Spirit, Bat Rider, Lifestealer, and there's going to be... there's a Shadow Shaman with a Force Staff. All these heroes are fairly mobile. They could all initiate in some way. The Lifestealer, he can piggyback on people, and the others, they've got hexes or instant lockdowns with, like, Flaming Lasso, and the silence coming out from Storm Spirit as well. I think Storm Spirit is going to be the really important thing in the next couple fights because he's got a 10-second BKB charge. If PR want to, they can try and force a lane, and I'm not sure they can actually do anything against Scandal with a 10-second BKB.
They can't. They have to wait until it's over. Have to run.
Yeah.
Or rather.
They basically just have to try and extend this game out. Just, if they're being 5-man push mid, drop a load of AoE there. Not that they have very much. I mean, they have the AA ult and a bit from Darkseer, but that's about it. I mean, Ember Spirit can throw some Sleight of Fists out, but he doesn't have much damage, so Sleight of Fist doesn't do anything until you have damage items. It's a difficult situation. Balkan Bears, I mean, for the moment, they're probably scratching their heads going, what went wrong so fast? They just lost too much map control very quickly.
They did. And the sad thing, I mean, we mentioned it during the draft that they were going to go for a bit of a do it or die kind of lineup, but at the moment it's starting to look like die. And that's what's kind of sad. I mean, it's a best of one. You only have one chance to make it to the semifinals. No second chances in the quarterfinals. The semifinals are best of 3, but first you have to make it through to the quarters. By the way, the winner of this matchup will be facing Goomba later tonight, so that should be a good one as well, regardless of which one of these two teams will be taking this one out. And of course, before that, we're going to have TCN versus Total Aggression. That's going to be happening right after this game, by the way. It's the first semifinals for the Spring Cup, so make sure you stick around regardless. But it looks like we have ourselves the reconnect again, and we are finally going to see who is going to be victorious. Well, we're not going to see that straight away. For Balkan Bears, they really want to slow this game down as much as they can. I'm not sure if they have the right heroes for that, though.
Yeah, the big problem for them is that they just don't have that too much in the way of AoE. The Venge, it was a great tick as far as thinking, but Morphling almost goes down there.
Might actually be in some trouble. He is gonna try to... Oh my god! He just two-shot Licious! At least Morphling is able to take down Scandal. That's nice. Venge comes in, stunning up Cheshire Cat, and the damage from Solitude is enough to take him down. And that also drops a gem. That's a big deal. Big deal that the gem goes the way of Balkan Bears. I mean, that was a good return kill, but Alicious, he is such a non-factor in this game. It sounds so harsh, but that is the absolute truth.
Yeah, I mean, the big problem is he just doesn't have any armor. Moon. I mean, I don't think Balkan Bears expected him to stay around. Yeah, the Desolator's chewing up anybody with low armor here. The only one it's not going to murder is the Morphling, and everybody else, they're all fairly low armor. Ancient Apparition, one of the lowest. The same goes for Ember Spirit. Those two just get cut through.
Yeah. Enigma gets himself the Aegis in the meantime, so even though Power Rangers lost some heroes for the first time in a while, they still make sure that they create space for an Aegis to be taken, so that's going to be an happy J4 for sure. He, by the way, he is so rich. He has his BKB. 10 seconds still on there as well, and it might be getting interrupted, or at least his black hole might be getting interrupted by a swap, but I think that Vengeful Spirit has more pressing matters at hand. He normally is forced to use the swap fairly early on to save one of his carries, or to save himself even.
Yeah, and that's a big problem. At the very least, J4, he's not mobile in any way. He's only got 350 move speed as well, so I mean, they'll see him, you know, BKB and try for a black hole. They might be able to get their ways out of there, but yeah, it's still very dangerous. And he's even probably, I mean, he's got a Void Stone. I have to assume this is going to be a Hex that he's going to go for. I mean, they already
Even
had
Yule's
very
is
good
okay.
lockdown.
How about
Yule's
Yule's
wouldn't be
Vengeful
bad,
Spirit?
but-
Make sure you don't get swept for a little while. It could
Yeah, I
work.
mean, it could work, but I would probably see him go for a Hex. He's saving up a lot of money, so I assume it's going to be that. Unless he's going... Nah, he could go Lincoln Sphere, but it doesn't serve too much of a purpose this game.
Well, he can stop from being swapped.
He can stop from being swapped, but as I said before, Venge can still just Magic Missile. Although, not if he's BKB'd, but...
And also not
Well-
if he's lassoed and killed by Moon.
Yeah, that too.
Who has an AC?
That's bad for you. Yeah, and Life Stealer, I mean, even more minus armor on him, great attack speed. He's going to be even more survivable as well.
I
And
mean,
another person goes down.
Scandal just picked up Darkseer, and all Ember could do was cast his spells, and then basically nothing. He
walk
walked
off.
around a bit, but he
Dire's
couldn't
top
do
tower
anything.
is under attack.
Yeah, and I mean, look at this on the top lane. Nobody's even stopping Moon go up here and just beat on the tower. He's just done half the HP to this tower. Licious is going to try and counter push, but he needs to be careful. This Batrider is in the area. If he gets pulled out, he's going to die very quickly. We saw how quickly Moon can just cut through anybody at this stage.
It is so scary with the AC as well. At least Batrider is no longer a threat in that top lane. He did manage to place a nice observer ward. What does that see actually? Wrong camera. That does see quite a lot actually. That's quite a nice ward that they have there. If there's someone
Yeah,
standing
surprised
right
by
in
just
this-
how much that does actually see.
If there's someone there, then they can actually pick him off. It's pretty nice. I like it. But so far, Power Rangers, they're, for me, surprisingly conservative in their movements. I mean, yeah, they're continuously pressuring all the lanes. They're pushing all the lanes out. They've got the 2-1-2 spread going in a way. But it feels like they're giving time. Oh, they're not giving time to Solitude though. Not with these people jumping in. He's morphing into strength. Aeold will fly in. He's gonna maybe try to turn this around. Shadow Shaman will already shatter. Scandal, he is gonna be forced to zip away as well. Or maybe he's just gonna continue on Solitude right now. Solitude will end up dying. Scandal lives completely out of mana, but at least he got what he came for. In the meantime, Darkseer gets picked up on the top lane. They've just got tag teams. We've got the Battle Rider with the Life-Stealing Infest Bomb on the top lane. We've got the Force Staffing Shackle into Vortex kind of Storm Spirit Shadow Shaman Bomb, and Enigma is going to help out whoever needs more help. And it looks like it worked successfully, and they're just pressuring both lanes right now. It's just, what are you going to do against it?
Yeah, they've just got great combos. I mean, I thought the Morphling would almost make it out of there, but in the end, Scandal has just enough mana to finish him off, and now Cheshire Cat tries to initiate on the top lane, but doesn't manage to jump just on top of someone. And that lasso, I mean, it's a great spell, but it is very short range. You pretty much have to be on top of someone.
Yeah, it looks like Enigma still was a bit afraid about up, so he picked up a Lincoln's.
Wow, it is actually going to be a Lincoln's then. I mean, I guess if you want to be able to get the best black hole of your life, these are the items to do it. He even has Aegis. This
You're
is
an
ridiculous.
Enigma. Of course you're gonna go for the best black hole of your life.
Yeah, but sometimes it almost feels worth it to just, you know, throw down black hole on one or two people. But yeah, PR, they're going to force the mid lane here. They're focusing on the range racks. I mean, early on, even range racks is pretty crippling.
Dire's middle
Yeah.
barracks has fallen.
Solitude's gonna get the free farm though. That's nice for him. He's got his Manta style ready as well. J4 pops the Lincolns. Maybe not jumping in just yet, but I mean, they got range racks on both lanes right now. And there's your Blink Lasso. The swap still comes out straight away, keeping Licious alive for the moment. The BKB and Cheshire Cat not really saving him for Solitude though, and he is gonna get that kill. Black hole onto the swap gets blocked. Vengeful Spirit actually was stuck in the black hole anyway, so couldn't swap. BKB for J4 still doing some work, but in the end, they're only getting the Venge. Now Solitude gets open wounds on him, and he is forced to get away. He's morphing into strength. Where is he going? He's going down. That's where he's going. Spacey is going to follow him, and Delicious bashed and killed, and 2 heroes left alive. One who just bought back. Solitude is going to try to save anything that he can. He's actually able to force at least J4 away. Lincoln's up on Lincoln's
Dire's
proccing.
top barracks are
But it
under
looks like with him buying back, they're actually... No, they're still going to go for the melee racks. What am I talking about? There's the open wounds again, looking for the bashes. Reforming away. In the meantime, on the top lane, Vortex onto the Darkseer. as Darkseer is going to get forced back into the base as well, while Scandal finishes up the melee racks. I mean, they got melee racks on 2 lanes, and range racks on 2 lanes as well. What's stopping them from not going bottom lane? This is my question.
They're just playing it safe. That's all they're doing here. The one thing that they do have to be careful about is, I mean, we saw it in that fight. Solitude, he's able to do a fair amount of damage here, even with just a Lincoln's Manta, but the thing is, there's nobody else is doing it. This Ember Spirit's doing nothing at this stage. He's just got phase boots and a drum. I mean, it's 32 minutes in. You want any item at this stage, even just a Desolator, so Solitude does more. But now they're going on him again.
Yeah,
they have the silence as well. He might even go down to this.
And I think he'll drop. He did drop, and he already bought back. That's him dead for almost 100-second. Licious, a big fiery chicken trying to get away, but he's going to get a lasso and killed off as well with all the BKB heroes surrounding him. The GG gets called 32 minutes into this game. Balkan Bears, I dare I say, they just got outpicked. I feel like they just got outpicked. Outplayed,
yeah, I feel like the
for
biggest
sure, but different draft would have different results, I think.
I feel like the biggest issue is that their supports just weren't able to help this Ember Spirit get ahead early. And Ember is going to lose the lane pretty much every time to a Storm Spirit. That's just how it works. They got the early kill on the Storm Spirit, but Storm, it didn't even matter. Storm was still ahead on XP when he TP'd back into the lane. He was well ahead on last hits and denies as well. And I mean, at that stage of the game, who are they relying on? They're relying entirely on a Morphling. And it's too early to rely entirely on a Morphling. Maybe, you know, another 20 minutes later into the game, the Morphling can absolutely clean house. But early on, I mean, we saw him, he was just starting to come online too. But it's not enough, especially when this Lifestealer goes 7-0-7 and really focuses down hard. He was beating him in the 1v1s.
Yeah, that's just painful. I find it interesting that Goomba, Odie, and FMP actually got a item for the victory, so they were watching, checking out maybe their future opponents. We are gonna jump ourselves to the first semi-finals. It will be TCN. Got that wrong. TCN taking on Total Aggression. Yes, they do their name justice, so that should be a very enjoyable match to watch. Stick around, it will be the first semi-finals of the Spring Cup. Best of 3, don't go anywhere, and we will be right back.